Good morning. We start with Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga. From the heart of the Savior of 100 deities of Tushita, on a peak of cloud resembling a clam of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dhamma, omniscient Losandrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on a lion throne, lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 yawns to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, lice, scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated. I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows, that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the eight worldly concerns. Savior, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy gurus, from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound and extensive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigratory beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losandrapa's teachings to shine forever. Sajibuki Chushi Metok Trabrirablishi Nidegempadi Sangye Jindu Mite Uwa Hidrokunamda Shila Chupasho. By the merits of having offered this mandala to Lama Tsongkhapa and his two sons, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teachings of the victorious one, Losandrapa, who had a morality of eminently pure way of life, was courageous in the extensive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of two stages of supreme bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Niryatayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of the perfect pure Father and Sons, and combining into one, enter my crown. White nectar, the color of milk, flows from the opening of tube of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. Now we recite 5-line Miktsema 3 times. Migmet sewe tenchen chen rezik, drime gimpe wampo jampel yang, dupo malu jonze sawendak, ganchen gepe tsungen tsongkapa, losandra pe shabla soade. Migmet sewe tenchen chen rezik, drime gimpe wampo jampel yang, dupo malu jonze sawendak, ganchen gepe tsungen tsongkapa, losandra pe shabla soade. Migmet sewe tenchen chen rezik, drime gimpe wampo jampel yang, dupo malu jonze sawendak, ganchen gepe tsungen tsongkapa, losandra pe shabla soade. And a prayer for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Fearless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and for mother living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in a glory for fortunate disciples.
Sanji Chodang Tsoji Chonum La Chancho Pardo Dani Kyapsunchi Dagi Chushi Yeban Dedak Drola Beshe Sanji Drupara Sho Sanji Chodang Tsoji Chonum La Chancho Pardo Dani Kyapsunchi Dagi Chushi Yeban Dedaki Drola Beshe Sanji Drupara Sho Sanji Chodang Tsojin Chonum La Chanchu Pardu Dani Kyapsun Dagi Chushi Yebande Dagi Rolan Ben Sanjin Drupara Sho Kangi Tuzi Nizoni Tawa Tamji Pambichare Tambichun Denze Kodam Tela Changze Lo Namo Laye Kedan Lodano Zenge Chubon Dadam Mi Kenon Ro Kunji Danam Chizam Tamji Kedu Dagi Chuden Do. Good morning, everyone. Shoppadele.
Geshe-la Shoppadele.
Lama Tenggung Bujizun Jambian La Chance. Lama Tenggung Bujizun Jambian La Chance. Lama Tenggung Bujizun Jambian La Chance. Dangon dengan malam setang. Dangon dengan malam setang. Tinggi kiran salia. Lavais.
So Geshe-la started with a salutation to the great master Manjushri, making prostration. And Geshe-la would like to share with you about his dream last night. That's all.
Kinak bojidoro. Kinak bu nakjanch. Ani ning di sam kabureshro. kidin dele kawachi chidan kidi color nabu nakjanchi dedan dele ya kartik chitu kidi gi sanji gi tsenga da tendites den shingdo kidi omman mamne sa soha sadi kidin dengudra kidin dengudra ani ngi kidila tanda lamadang gombo jizun jambiyan la chazalo sadi kidil lagudra kidi lagudu kidi tangbo yakbu labshing mandara ngil lamadang slavdu kugi lamadang dawa chik sebu megyoro lagudra ani ngi yangya tsachik ni sum lavra ani ko pe sebu tsangma shul lagudra kidi ani ni malamdi chodamado asra
So in Geshe-la's dream last night, there was a black dog. The black dog was completely black in color, but the area where his heart at his chest area was white, and also between the dog's eyes on his burrow, it was also had a white spot. But other than that, the dog was completely black. But the dog was able to recite the name mantra of the Buddha Shakyamuni, Om Muni Buddhi Mahabodhi Soha. And also the dog was saying, I prostrate to the Lama, I prostrate to Manjushri. But at first, this there wasn't any clarity to the dog's speech, but having recited 2 or 3 times more, then the clarity of this was able to be heard. So this is what was appearing in Geshe-la's dream last night.
Chidan milam reda, nge malam reda ko malam re demba marawas, demba mara. Ini yang arang gisam nama ya. Chidan yakbu tu ada dirwa, ko tundro jire de ini yang demba cum den degi cengat jang om manu mahamani soaset. Kidin dende gitu. Ani ange kola ya jambi yangi. The lama dang gombo jizun jambi yang la chal salo se tsikdi the namju pegi ta chik nanchu nyamne chingi jila ya tsikdi pe kechambu chago res pe kechambu chago res ra ani ta chik namba jimba na susu lama dang jizun jambi yang shereb gul hanyi bo di ani chik tu gomne tingi chik tu gomne ani malam jago gores. Tenza di sik dingi kidela lawandi kidi ani yanja lawandi kidi densing do asra. Ta di malam chada malam rda ya. Tiko ta di kar khog dus lawena. Ta pena kila lawena nandu kila lawena ki sing do ata ro karina sing yora da kida pakbala sobala ya. 아니 미 라원디 콘서 딱다 신고르다 당 간수 밀레더와 델리짱 돈롤이 캐버드 파와인사 가를 라바이나 가를 장바이나 마시바지 요마라다 갑갈랑 아주 뒤즈된 거마도 뒤즈된 준주체 아니 갑갈이야 소버검 돈렌 체고야 깡가라 돈렌 체고 망부용 거라다 돈렌 체고마도 가를 랍나 싱그러다라 저장 가르랍나 싱그러다 디 셔럽디로 밀야 남주디 요로스로 네 삼도 디든 데워로 아니 팅이 빠랄렌 님물람 타얀다 당이 밀야 딱바 직시에 되거라 팅일 데스 제워도 삼고도스로
So being a dream state, then of course it's not something that is true or something that is a reality. Yeah. But Geshe-la feels that it's something very enjoyable or something good that was manifesting in his mind. That an animal, a dog in this case, was able to recite the Buddha's mantra, the Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Swaha. Yeah. So this being related to Jetsun Jambaoyang or Manchushri, that these is very important that these words are connected in this dream. Yeah. So from being a Buddhist practitioner, if we're able to see the Lama and the deity Manchushri as being one in one essence, then this is something that is very important for us to be able to do. So with the dog learning this particular mantra, and then with a little bit of practice, reciting it 2 or 3 times, it was able to clearly understand or clearly able to recite it. So in general, we know that dogs and some animals are, if you tell them certain things, that they're able to respond and they're able to have a certain level of understanding, comprehension. So even more so with our human condition, we have this unique intelligence and discrimination. So, and it's really a difference that we can understand whatever is put in front of us, but it's just a matter of making the time and putting the effort into that study and reflection. Yeah. So we're able to learn and reflect based on our human discrimination and our intelligence. So Geshe-la feels that this is the connection that is relating to Geshe-la's dream last night. That's all.
Tirda the teaching the channel mancha in number in mares, number in Google mares. I imba in a Ganzo number in Nandra, Menandra, Ganzo la Cargogores. Cargogores lavana. Tivara, the Cargores lavana. Land the peshi chigures, chigbares, number in Nandra, number Menandra. Land the Cargoyes lavana. Taje and happiness ra manzule deo gogoras ra manzul deo gogore diki set ten pe ani semba kiu yong yak deo ding manzul pe kecham cha goras ra e dit thiwa sul tan ja namba ingin thiwa tan ya deo gogore namba maing injil ya nanchu miching injil ya thiwa tan ba na deo gogo yoras timase manzu chi ani thundru sunje ba na ya Deva Gugyor Mado, Deva Mugungi Maras. The Deva Druvyagi Tablam Yakshudi, Kicheshudi, and Sheriff Drendos, Namchut, Ra, Namchu Yabu Giabana, Digi Fusum Savage, Trin to Goras, Ra. That Namchu di, Tongman Anzu, Amanima Kieva ne, Namchu Chanzan Yodevaji. Yomarata, love gogorasa, Namju love gogorata, Namju the Jani, so Namju the Dembi Mich. The Soyorasra. The Dela and Piggy, the Judun Jambi and the Sheriff Gila, Kanji Judun Jambi and said the Tandang Mumadi Pigilaya, Michik Maimba, and in Anzu, the Namju Purduchon, Sheriff Jora, Namju Purduchon, Sheriff D. Did such Penganzulea and La Sharjawach. Teach or mother Shampakan Yomares. Pen Namka and Jashagdwada. Namkal and Jashaya di Langbar, Chu Lamba. Chu Lamba like Nimu Jawandigi and Sundan Dam and the Sharing Gora. Wet Yadanji Tony. Tiri Mado and Tilly lost Namkale and Jasaji, so in Yomaras. Did not change. Jizun Jambian said, and as Chitangi, Kunin Tion did that, and eradicating large toward in a Tandang Momadi, and Sheriff Namju for the Chon, so Hashawach, Teres. Telaya same teaching, Tig any mean, that sang us and the mean, Yani and the tea mean mercy. Any Suzuki Julia, Sheriff Giachu, Telaya capture by now. Sheriff the Pergores. Sheriff Payungores.
So most of us here are not likely to be practicing Buddhists, and you don't need to be a Buddhist. So whether you're a Buddhist or not, we can really ask the same question and have the same answer. What is the real purpose? Yeah. What do we all need? Yeah. And what we answer is that we all need happiness and we need a sense of well-being. Most important thing is to have a happy mind. So this is regardless of whoever you may ask, what do you need? The answer is always going to be the same, regardless if you're a Buddhist or not. And not only if we ask people, but if we ask animals, or we can see that animals also, this is what they want. They also want to be happy, yeah, and have a peaceful experience. But the best method in order to obtain the highest quality of mental happiness is to rely on our wisdom and our intelligence, yeah. So if we have this, if we have wisdom and intelligence, we can accomplish this perfect or complete level of mental happiness. Yeah? But in order to improve our wisdom and our intelligence, we need to learn from others. Yeah? Others teach us and we can learn from them. Yeah? So you can, in relation to that, the deity of the Manjushri is the personification, yeah, or the manifestation of all the wisdom and intelligence. And if you summarize that into a figure, and we get the deity Manjushri, yeah. So this is a accumulation of the perfection of wisdom, yeah. So you can see that even though we have the deity Manjushri, but the deity is not something that is truly there, much like a rainbow that is forming in the sky. The rainbow is forming in the sky due to the sunlight reflecting off the moisture that is in the sky. So in the same way, the deity Manjushri is able to appear. Yeah? And this is a personification of the wisdom or of our intelligence. Yeah? So if we're able to recite the name mantra of Manjushri, if we recite this on a regular basis again and again, then this will assist in increasing one's wisdom and intelligence. That's all.
Tilda Dinza Nanzu Namju Labgoda, Namju Jango, Namju Yabu Yongya Jango, Jani machine is Suchi Yungo Mardara, Tundrop and the Kilaya, Namju Lavana, Shuji Jambu, Collate Lovely, Shiando, the pages a kid, the cousin Kumalam, the kid lanes. Killer Kazus Lavana, Kid Jambu Shuchayora. Kilaya Namju Lavia daughter, Tambu Kiri, Chicken Sing Mare. Now you call Lovely, me qualify Lovely, Kolaya Namju period doas, the Euro, the Ganzo Hakoyers. and the in by the miller the telegang namju lavaina namju put chunga kia yobati gacha gatan baris ro re
So in order to increase our intelligence, increase our own wisdom, we're all able to learn from someone. Having someone teach us, we're all able to learn from someone. Even animals, like in the case of a dog, I guess has a dream basically, we'll use the example of a dog, yeah. So as the owner of the dog is teaching and guiding that dog, the dog itself is able to learn and use its own awareness and intelligence to learn a new behavior. Yeah. So, and on that basis, the dog is able to become more friendly. Yeah. So needless to say, we as humans, we have this capacity to learn and increase our wisdom and understanding. Sola.
dengan namju di malab ranglab res nganzo la ya damka yo mares namju injim nganzo lab go gores ro ta kashi lab malam dena da devare modo tanto tanda ngoma sheba na nganzo la ya namju lab dan lawi men sikeje tiba na nganzo namju lawi se go gor modo tel damka yo mares damka meba khares na nganzo deden din deya di 디기인자 로 땐도 대화진자 가드이나 대화지고고연자 가드이나 대화디 용예라야 균남줄 땡고르마도 남주메나 딘디기 대화디 튼투고 말해스 로 딘디기 땐도 대화 용예라야 가르 규든 깽 가르고레스라운디 아니 비기다 세와옴 장바 다 남주니 송든 데니 아니 라렌타는 로투바이나 샘라 디기 푸숨 소바디 융구요레스 팀 메바이나 디기 융구요 마레스라 디기 고나야 디기 줍투구요 마레스 난 잠블린라 야다 찰라 카리네 요르다이나로 카리네 요르다이나야 카른 당게요 마레스 라온디 다디 홍구펜 케우탐바 남주 풀도 총 속다 송요라다 디려 닐랍샤유 마레스라 만줄라 참바당 세와 셰럽기로 잠세당 셰럽기 당거 마레스 디기 만다니 만줄야 문데신도 동아 용대야디 테레스 딘자 아니 잠제다 로 남산기비 추어 나올라야 체 개체비 랍샤디 잠질라베 드레스 로 샴바카이 말에 체 개체주도 잠질라베 가스나 소착 참말로 고야 대와다 무고야 동아 임반자 디 대와 드베다 동아 세베 탑디 잠지 코나라 라리건자 잠바데 셰르 코나라 라리건자 잠질라고 두세 디레샤스 로
So if you ask what is the need for talking about intelligence, talking about wisdom, yeah, we really actually don't have a choice. We must address the topic of wisdom and intelligence, yeah. So you can see, because if we want to accomplish or achieve a good quality of happiness, of mental happiness, then we must address it by using our wisdom and intelligence. So without that wisdom or intelligence, we won't be able to fully comprehend the methods in order to gain that good quality or lasting happiness here, because it is based on specific causes and conditions. So it is advised by the great masters. Geshe-la himself is not thinking up his own idea, but the great masters advise that we need to conjoin wisdom and intelligence with love and kindness. Yeah, these two need to go together in order to obtain this highest level of happiness and mental peace. Yeah. So regardless of all the good objects, the good resources that we have in our world, the holy beings advise us to use loving kindness and wisdom conjoined together. So without these two conjoined together, if we only have the loving kindness or if we only have the wisdom, we will not be able to obtain that lasting happiness. So this is really one of the most important pieces of advice that the Buddha Shakyamuni gave. It was teaching about loving kindness. Yeah. So we are all the same in not wanting suffering, but we still have to experience a suffering situation. And we're able to develop a method to cultivate the happy circumstances using love that is based in or conjoined with wisdom and intelligence. That's all.
the kanji ngarang tsoro do jigin ba na sheba na tangi ye ra losum ju sodang da losum ju sodang rin la ya peshi shibju masum sin rin la ya da nangju jang ra was ra tribden do dingi ta chi dom ya na kari ni song la ba na shamba ki ke ni ma song ta nganzu goya dil chamba dang sewa sherab la ya lab goya di 때 도도 님부 데레샤스 디 여바이나 아니 디지 여바 디 메나 다 디지 메바 다 딘디징 베는 게 조던로 디니 손스로 딩이 니 삼나 니 디니 손스 이런게 로 디르려야다 딱지지 장 심주지 비 쩨버쩨 트버틀렌체 아니 게긴살란 로 아니 페티 슈 아니 진르지원념도 비 돌린체 아니 페차다 삼로탄도 시온디 저든 타투버도 디레샤스 로 세세미야부 세메비기 세비 삼바체다 아니 남주 풀도 총원이지 송도 징 젤투바나 다 소수군 되되 용서버 될 때는 줍투여봐 되면은 줍투고 매바지 아니 니 셈날 딘디로 저든 용구도 쓰러
So Geshe-la's feeling over the 30, almost 40 years of his studies and what is learned over that time and what is concluded over those years is that we need to have love and wisdom. And not only that, these two need to be conjoined together, used together. Yeah. If we have this, then we will attain mental happiness. And if we do not have this, we will not attain or not accomplish that mental happiness. And Geshe-la has arrived at this conclusion through many years of reflection, study, discussing with his classmates, discussing with his teacher, going to listening to various classes. And he's really come to the conclusion that in order to gain the best kind of happiness, you must have love and compassion, or love and kindness conjoined with wisdom or intellect. Yeah. So Geshe-la really feels that this is on this basis, one is definitely able to attain that mental happiness that we all need. Let's allow.
디 제국이라서 셰르 제국이라서 딘자다 베나다 롱업 중업시레스라 단데 종규 베나 롱뉴시 데바나 베나 둔치 템시 땡아 딘디스 데바이나 단단가 망보 롱뉴시 데바이나 디 링라야 녜다 가르 제국이레 제와지 디바이나 당가 문트니 잠제당 셰르블라야 랍딘 조야디 제마도 텔리 케체제다 텔리 사와지 아니 나라에 내가 매바디 지기 매바디 니 닝문의 탁지 투글도스로 닝문의 탁지 투글도스 다 지금 셴바 가리 여바이냐 텔리 케체지 매바디 나라 초디 용도스
So Geshe feels very strongly, emphatically, that he would like to share his feeling with you all. So Geshe has arrived in his mid-50s, so the remainder part of his life, sort of around 20 years or 30 years or so into the future, Geshe feels that there really is nothing more important that he would like to share with others. Yeah, he's really come to that conclusion, and he can feel convinced and has decided that this sharing of love, love and kindness and wisdom, yeah, there's nothing more important that needs to be shared other than this, yeah. So this is Geshe's feeling that he'd like to share with you. And that's the
제가 디체드로 디체등에들 아미는 존재야 베나 아니 단지 된데야 간del라자마 자우sun가 보다 원리게 가서다 단 직된 드나래 다 딜라 니에메 기긴 통고레스 등이라 니디 제고레스 오늘 다베 아니 남주 푸드 총댕이 남주 여바 삼마세 세와 여댕이 수준 호말라야 마 아니 호말라야 셈메비 세와 여댕이 남주 여댕이 드니 코랑 송바티 코랑기 침마 제시 냠레 난댕이 아니 드니 지 칸송바티 쌈마 쇼지 간두 짜와니 메바 아니 텔레야 릭바요 릭람요 균세요 아니 벤 이토질마 티바이나 베 아니 지 가서다 지 양자 셰데오 마이 바고 짱마 쇼지 벤으로 아니 간주 다 착쇼요로 착벌 깨라 친구들도 임바이나 고 저자도 짱마지 되길 모두 양자 고 되게 말아 디존이 딱 간지 짱마 쇼지 나랑 제거레스 진짜 텔레야 가디나 수왔다 아니 가 캐나시 용쇼스 라 미스 투바이나야 찍바 따퉁에 참로라야 제와 짱퉁에 데니 찍 대야 제와 대야베 남죽베 잡대 용이 제와 라 아니 교화메비 제와 다 딘디기 미치 용야기 쳇 말람 자고다 티자고레스라 티자고스 아니 이게 가드이나 삼을단 게 즉 대답다기를 안 계란솔이야 계제시고 가드이나 삼을단 가드스 삼을단 와이나 아니 남주도 야자자다 뭐 체를 조고요서레스라
the Jason Kapiki Kula Yara di Chudagi Gibutampa.
가르사
The Tanda Dingatsu the Kare Dingatsu the Yitep de Loktu Sambla Gibutampa ki Yitep Yana Jason Kapaki de Captain
순가박대
Jason Kapaki. So so on this basis, this basis of love, compassion, love and kindness that is conjoined with wisdom, then we go to practice texts such as Guru Yoga, Gandhala Dhyama, and so on. Yeah. So on this basis, we are supplicating the great master Lama Tsongkhapa. And this master, Lama Tsongkhapa, is one that has great intellect, yeah, and is also has a great loving kindness. So this teacher is really putting into practice what he is explaining and describing about, yeah. And those texts that Lama Tsongkhapa has composed is without any contradiction, but it's using sound and clear reasoning and logic. Yeah? So when Geshe-la reads and reflects on these books, he feels that he's very inspired to read them again and again, over and over. Whereas if, for example, if we take a newspaper, we read the reports, yes, they may be very clear and logical, but we're not inspired to read them again and again. Yeah. So on this basis, by cultivating a feeling of inspiration, we understand that these holy beings, in particular Lama Tsongkhapa, who have great loving kindness and also have this great wisdom and intellect, then we can make aspirational prayers. Geshe-la makes aspirational prayers to these to Lama Tsongkhapa. So then when he reads these texts, then however much he reflects on those texts, he feels that his level of awareness and understanding, his intellect is increasing more and more. Lasola.
Teta kanji ta re ngadu ste baina ra chamze da namju song den del to baina and digi yobach lagdun de chamze sing de kechin boro anzu zambling ichu zo de chamze phon yoba de yachi yada bares chamze mandam ongi thukba shogyores chamze mandam ongi ani chig seritangoras chambu meba chagoras yagri shogoras ra chamze kapaliosa telaya tumbudan chambuchin degoras ra terta sasangji baina ya paralaya chamze mena nyam detu mandasra sasang baina ya pi shogan ya ngani message nyam dego se sai ya baina ya chamze mandan di tuba shorne loga charu dasra shamba gyujin shamba khaya mari chamze mandama konare madu gyujin shamba khaya yo mares chamze gin damba ina suda nyamdina detu gres rotu gres lega chetu gres ro chambu chetu gres chamze maybe nimotani ani the loga charu gres ro ani chamze di na tuya yores na yacha jadam tuya yores tuya tabshi yakshudi namjo deres ro namjo yobayna ngoyo nesun tong tuyach ro ngoyo nesun tongdi ari ranshingi sewe somebody legores tinzang anjuda ani namjo labgo do set ro jidun jambi yanla ya so tabgo do set tanda deres madoji kyan chu chegore chulu baji chegore se 계제도 자원이 사마레스 로
So if we have love, have wisdom, yeah, then if we use this together, then we will be able to accomplish a high quality or a perfect type of mental happiness, yeah. But without love, yeah, without a correct understanding, there are always going to be resulting in disagreements and disharmony amongst others, yeah. So even amongst greater communities, but also on a family level. Without that level of loving kindness, there's always going to be a resulting in conflict. Even though one has signed a document and agreed to stay with the other person, but without that sense of loving kindness, then there will be a lot of conflict and disagreement arising, and one will not be able to remain together. But if we have this level of loving kindness, then regardless of who we work with, who we stay with, who we go together with, then we'll be able to remain in a harmonious way. Whereas if we don't have this basis of loving kindness, then it'll be very difficult to remain with other people. So likewise, if that loving kindness is conjoined with our intellect, with our wisdom, then naturally the process is going to be remaining in a more harmonious fashion. Those relationships will be a lot more harmonious with less conflict. Yeah. So this is the need for us to address the topic of wisdom or intellect here. So, and this is why we touch on the meaning behind the deity Manjushri. Yeah. So this is regardless if this is related to Buddhism or not. This is all very relevant still. That's all.
Teda 다 장야의 계심으로 가드는 상담 배나 잠재 장야기 아니 릴람로디 대화도 동함도 지규르세야 지규르 임비 균센데 먼저 딱지 제바는 하고야지 용거라서 딱지 제바는 캐나다 아니 대화도 동함도 지바르베스는 야채야담 지바 마힘비 촉직도에서 요 말에서 지바 임비 균센 가주 망부쇼지 디로아 디니마 딱 상담와이나 간sam질에 샘래야 엠뱅강기베 아니 나신기 코야 데버데버다 동감면데버 레 삼비기 로디 샘나말이야 강길레와서레스 딜레바이나 아니 소소라 동가 존나 면데바 나제 파쇼마 동가 존나 면데바 임바디 통온디 파쇼말이야 동가 때나 디그마레와 삼비기 로직 야차야용고레스 다 딜레 온디 다 캐랑기 샘래야 잠지기 다 지 시마로디 템부슈 숙사레스 로 다드니 야니안 상다나 다 나랑 동가 만조로 치는지마로 냠빌로 여바나지 파쇼마 델야 동가 만조로 치는지마로 냠빌로디 레고레스 디 잠제스나 디레스로 디레스 다 딩앙기 요나 아니 잠지글로 찌모 마임바세 잠지글로 헤메바세 캐랑귤레야 깨버레스 니마트니 손 데니 손이 캐랑 수툭바이나야 참마 캐랑기 아니 니 저번한 신지 통거를 마도 다다오지 싸우는 통거 말해스
So in order to gain this level of reflection in our own mind, we need to study. Yeah, we need to learn the way in order to cultivate this feeling of loving kindness. So one way is to consider that we are all the same in not wanting suffering and wanting to obtain happiness. Yeah, but we need to reflect and analyze about this idea about whether we actually are the same or not. Yeah. So there are actually many reasons that we can use to gain a correct understanding of this, that we all have the same wish of wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. Yeah. So if we think on a daily basis, yeah, that like myself, in the same way that I do not want to experience suffering, but only want to be happy, then in that same way, others naturally have that same wish. Yeah. Even though we experience suffering, we don't want it, but we do have to experience it. But if we, in order for us to gain our own happiness, if we give suffering and discomfort to others, then we can generate a mind that this is generate a mind that this is something that is not appropriate or unsuitable to do. So I'll rephrase that. So if we give suffering or harm to others in order to gain our own happiness, then we have to develop a mind that thinks that this behavior is something that is unsuitable. Yeah. So if we use reasonings, feeling that others in the same way want to experience happiness and avoid suffering, then we will naturally generate a feeling that we want to avoid the thought that wishes to harm others in order to gain our own benefit. Yeah. So that eventually we won't be seeing any other as being our enemy. And eventually we won't be generating a mind that wishes to harm others. Yeah. But we'll be able to consider all others as being friendly or a friend to oneself. That's all.
대다 딘디기 베나다 지 잠바당 셰럽로 남주 지 야부 기야기 체도 탑실이야 아니 동발랭고레스 라 안주 동바세디 베나다 게닌다 게술다 게론다 지 잔주심비 동바세 동발랭야기 가서다 지 고든 소디 잠지기로 셰럽기야기 체도랜도스 다 동발랭 칸르지 팽그레스 해줘라 디 모집 tre바이나 배야부여레스로 배야부여레스로
라는 타마니 얘기스로다. 타마.
동발랭야디 잠지 로 콤팔 드라야기 체도 동발랭겨레스 다 동발랭니 잠지 로 콤팔 칸다신 드고여레스 디 하지 코바이나 야부 배여레스로
네. So, what is the best method in order to increase our loving kindness and wisdom here? So, the best method is by taking up vows, taking up personal restraints, such as the personal liberation vows, the lay people vows, the bodhisattva vows, and so on. So, the purpose of taking up vows is to increase one's wisdom and compassion. But it's actually very important for us to understand how by taking up vows, it's going to increase our love and wisdom. So this is what we'll touch on. That's all.
리와드니 레페나 다지 곰갸야라 소바드 로존치야 참말로디 피기 자비기 다 두자도디 잠바당 셰럽 콤발 프로젝트레샤스 페나 난주고 다지 루타오디 간주 수보기로 수보라야 락파니 깜바니 고여라다 오면나 믹 나와 제 옹봉아 안디 참아 루가 옹볼이야 땡기요나 신로지 그라 자위기 미기 통구요레 마도 다코고요 마라 암조기 다코고요 마도 수 통구요 마라 나기 tit 마도 다만도 이네 코란라야 젤레 로가 요르데냐 디 참아 댄사디 루가 옹볼이야 땡요레스 루가 옹볼이야 땡요레스 아 디난신기 비기 양랑가디 룰레야 된도 자위기 루디 자위기 쪼드 루드랜도 뭐 디난싱기 단단한도 뉴몽구 초시야온디 베난 되차 연구요래 나르게 연구요래 차도 연구요래 다 지금 댄섬 연구요래 네섬 연구요래 자마다 연구요래니 디기 싸워디 몸바 마리 바세야 투요래스 딘디시에도 왔어 다 디난싱 냠랭기 쪼디 가르스나 잠바든 셔러브레스 디 탑레야 가르요스디 다 동발레야다 데니 곰갸야라 소바다 다 어디니 자마다 요레스 다 드니 다 동발레야 디게 잠제 곰발든 로얄이야 간다지 뱅그리에세 디로 당아주 셰조 디지라스로
So, for example, excuse me. So, for example, we meditate, we study, we practice, and all the main purpose of all of these activities is to increase one's ability of cultivating loving kindness and wisdom. Yeah? So, for example, like the arms and legs of our body, they rely on the body, the torso, yeah. And in the same way, our head, our senses rely on our head. So these are the main points. Yeah, these are the main areas of reliance. Yeah, and in the same way that our sense faculties rely on their respective sense organ. Yeah. So, for example, the eye is unable to see sound, and the ear is not able to see visual objects. But they all have their respective individual functions. But the point is that they rely on a central figure such as the head in order to function properly. Yeah. So in the same way that the limbs of the body rely on the torso in order to function, then they need something that holds it all together. So another way to look at it is that our disturbing emotions, such as anger, attachment, desire, jealousy, aversion, and so on, they all exist as in relation or reliance on the affective emotion of ignorance. Yeah. So you can see that they're all dependent on something, a single thing. So in order to so in the same way, we take the vows, yeah, as something that is a single entity, and on that basis, we're able to increase our loving kindness and wisdom. So how the purpose of expressing now is how do the vows function in order to improve our loving kindness and wisdom. Yes.
다들이 동발레야 주디 챌린지레스 챌린지 이 셴은 네버 싸우니 지금에 세 챌린지 라 동바생이 디레샤스 이 셴은 네버 싸우니 지금에 세 챌린지요는 더디 동바레스.
So what are vows? Yeah. So vows are something that we accept. Yeah. So we accept that we will never at any time generate the wish and engage in harming others. So this is a acceptance and a promise to never harm others. That's love.
챌린지 여바나 챌린지 제사바나 베나 소수 아마티라야 아니 이 독자 지면서 챌린지 바나 아니 지 자와 독자 지에게 이게 베나다지 아니 사자로 질레바나 아니 람상이 아미티라야 챌린지 바인다 디그마리 사마지 로 미야부지나 람상 소로 딜리기라스 딜레바나 피기게 아니 다치 자와 독자스나 자와 모로와 자와 탐부 매바 샹라 느비 자와 로진 람사 까야지 간스나 수수일이야 아미트라 켈렌비 켈렌디여 반자 디기 아니 땡땡 피기기 자와 독자 제발이야 아니 가서 다치 까 투야기 아니 록바로지 레용 그래서 지금 당한주기 산지 좀 된디 눈이야 켈렌치기요래 산지 좀 된디 수준 눈이야 봐 아니 매바 약부 신니 딘 눈이야 어머나 수주기 비 라마드다 산지 좀 된디 지금 지게 인삼니 아니 뒤시 디존니 딘 눈이야 켈렌치 니몬이 친 당이 디친는 지금 말이 켈렌치 차이 삼비 초라디 연구래스 로 딘니 손이 니마 딘니 손이 소설 내가 가르쳐 봐야냐 전부 당장 해야지 시지 축조거래스 근데 넘발이 거든 소디 세레스로
So the refraining or taking the vows is something that we accept, that we make a promise not to harm others. So, for example, that promise, if we make that next to or with our mother, if we make a promise to refrain from harming others in front of our mother, then when we do come across the chance that we would harm another person, then immediately we will have a feeling that, that is not suitable to do because I made a promise with my mother that I would not harm others. So on this basis of accepting and making a promise, in this case, with one's mother, on that basis, when we do have the chance to engage in that harming, then we will be much more likely to be reminded and think, this is not a suitable behavior to engage in because I have made that promise. So this promise or this acceptance is something that helps us to refrain from, it assists us from the harming activities. So even more so, if we make this promise in front of the Buddha or with our Lama, who we consider to be as one or the same as the Buddha, then when we do have the opportunity to engage in harm, then we will recall straight away that I made a promise in front of the Buddha, in front of my Lama, not to engage in that activity. We made the promise that from that day on, that we will act in an honest way, in an appropriate way, and not harm others. So this promise or acceptance is the main point of taking up the vows. That's all.
there's 켈렌싱인데 저당 켈렌디 켈렌레 믹스 통해서 기어 말다이네 디자체 자타 방안줄이야 로바치기도 왔어 단지 쉬워나지 간지 아마 있는다 바와 있는다 오늘 수수 사상인 바인다 간지 수수기 샘다니에서 디 잘이야 아니 녜다 독자 책임면서 다 제다 뭐로 빼나 아니 가리나로 책임면서 켈렌지 제바나 켈렌디 제네손데 아니 계란 맛이 버드 켈렌디 계란 냠도 되기로 왔어 아마 틀려 연난다 매난다 아니 사자카와 러나야 지타 독자 책임면서 켈렌지 차인자 가완 드바이나야 독자 제사 켄삼 레온디 체인 그레스 야블론스 아케랑이만 켈렌치 임바 세아존르치 레인 그레스 디치디기 아니 저 독자 제발이야 마제발이야 켈렌디 팽거레스로 dombasin direnda kanji dombagi peyro direnda kellen di mashur wachin son debayna ani kaddu ina karana ya songyep chigores chaw dugja chewa ya kanggo chigores kanji karan yabu chaye chedo songyep di kellen di chigores 랑안주다 아니 메시로 롯다 쪽섬 주시니 아니 자와체니 메시 간잘이야 자왈 데투게 조디 캘린디 여반자 양이 짜윌라면드니 캘린시 차이 당이 치는 지금 말씀비 캘린디 여바기 때니 아니 간주 송투 제마토 아니 저당게 지 아니 대차 시당 공중 안서 사먹을 찍고 찍냐 로 아니 찍고 찍냐로 왔어 이나야 그 메시 코로나야 송투야기 아니 조디 캘린디를 때니 송투고 열었어
So even though we cannot physically see a promise, or our acceptance, but this promise can actually still help us, So if we've made a promise when we're, and then when we're staying with our family, we're with our mother, our father, and our relatives, based on this previously made promise, we will not engage in harmful activities. So from that day forward until the end of your life, for your whole life, based on making a promise, then we will be much more or less likely to engage into harmful activities. So regardless of whatever situation that we are in, whatever work that we are engaging in, we will be able to keep this promise in the back of our minds, and this will be able to influence ourselves, our behavior, as we go about our daily lives. So this is really something that is very beneficial. This promise is something that benefits us for not engaging in those negative activities, and it really acts as in a sense, a protector, from us engaging in giving harm to others. So this promise is able to protect us, So Geshe has been a monk for 30, 40 years or so, and during this time, having made a promise and taking vows in front of his root gurus, he is able to protect and maintain those vows based on this promise, even though we are all the same in having afflictive emotions such as desire, anger, aversion, and so on. But on this basis of having made that promise, he is able to keep those vows and protect them. So this is dependent on making that promise. That's all.
Teza tabjig pena shenlaya nutsi cheshu di sokchaya dhira dwasra. Sokchaya means. Ani shengi longchun choya di. Ani shenlaya nutsi cheshu chik chagado di chig means. Ani shen gogor tanya di. Ngidi chig means. Shenlaya zayam chaya di chig means. Dinda jig susu gi sem chug nirwa. Ani Kelen kanga shodra ji ngora da di ani pen chang cheme ban tong na sem chuk dog das ani sem chuk dra ya ani lega di ani tong ya ri ding ye zaw ni tong mes o dindri kelen che ba na te dini di kelen di yebi ton du chi dro ba na chawa khari che ba na shen la ya manne ba ani chi chawa thangbu ani chawa sendin reta shenla manu bigi chawa chi suzu kevin drubgo gorese suzu degi drubgo gore ina ya suzu degi drubi shorla ya shenla ya neba tamayna di thangbu mai ba chi jamden dik disung da di thangbu mai ba da di thangbu yong ya che du kelen di yo ba na gyacha gyadam ba pengores da du songder chin ro ba na kenan gyula ya chamje lo di ngangi kyeyo kores. Ra. Ta teni re ani sharabdi ani sharab kiyala ya ani kelendi pengores. Ra semba tsangma chagwarda dyocha ki shamand matangwa ngarye ki shamand matangwa chagdo ki shamand matangwa tu jine sem du usondi ani sem ranshen ki sem di tsangma chagwares. Sem tsangma chawayna ani pigi yu nilu di chima chinshin dun tong yung gores. Tela ya sharab se gores. Ra nguyo nizu khaimba tong tuwa tela sharab se gores. Nguyo nizu tong tuwa da chamzi lo nimu di nyam rogores. Sondre chik chikla ya pen gores. Ra da digi nyamlendi. Ra nanchuga nana zu di songo dos. Ra
So the worst type of harming others is to engage in the act of killing. So we make a promise to never engage in killing, to never engage in stealing, lying, sexual misconduct. So we say that I will never do this. I will never steal. I will never lie. I will never engage in sexual misconduct and so on. So making a promise, yeah. So also on top of that, by not engaging in intoxicants that disturb and agitate one's mind, yeah, that clouds one's minds. So never in taking alcohol and other intoxicants. So we make a promise never to engage in this, yeah. So on this basis of our promise, then whatever activity that we'll be doing, whatever work that we may be doing, it's not going to be resulting in harming others. It's going to be very honest and straightforward, you know. So in this way, it'll be a benefit for increasing not only our own, but other people's, other sentient beings' happiness, yeah. So because if we engage in harming others in order to gain our own happiness, our own benefit, then the Buddha Shakyamuni said that this is a very dishonest way, a very harmful way in order to go about life. Yeah. So if we, on the basis of a promise, if we're able to refrain from, but not only that, we're able to increase our loving kindness and wisdom. Yeah. So we're able to accept or make this promise, then we'll be motivated without competitiveness, without comparing to others, without jealousy, and so on. So then this promise will be a very pure type, will be very correct and proper type of promise. So on that basis, we'll be able to develop a clarity of mind. So on that basis of a clear and clear understanding of our mind, then regardless of the situation, we will be able to see the actual situation of how things are. So this is going to be increasing our own intellect, our own wisdom. Yeah. So this is really the main purpose of what the Buddha Shakyamuni was talking about, the practice and the cultivation of wisdom and love that is based on a promise. So repeat together. Repeat with Geshe-la or after Geshe-la.
Lamatang,
Lamatang,
Gombo,
Gompo,
Jizun,
Jetsun,
Jambi Yangla,
Champe Yangla,
Chancelo,
Chadzelo,
Lamatang,
Lamatang,
Gombo,
Gompo,
Jizun,
Jetsun,
Jambi Yangla,
Champe Yangla,
Chancelo,
Chadzelo,
라마당,
라마당,
공보,
공포,
지준,
제준,
잠비양라,
참패양라,
차셀로,
차슬로,
라마당,
라마당,
공보,
공포,
지준,
제준,
잠비양라,
참패양라,
차셀로,
차슬로,
옴,
음,
아라파자,
아라파자,
나드,
나드,
옴, 아라파자,
아라파자,
나드,
나드,
옴, 아라파자,
아라파자,
나드,
나디,
디디디디디디디디.
디디디디디디디디디디디디.
된 거다. 니만 따고 된 거랬어. 된슬로 배야 보다.
네.
오늘 아니 옴 아라파자 나데세티 지준 잠비양게 생아레스. 다주디 아라파자 나데세티 잠비양게 체렌도다. 체렌도. 런 잠비양게 체스는 다 셔럽기 잠비양스는 셔럽 사레스라라. 다 간지 셔럽기 아니 민지 차고레스. 로 전도츠는 셔럽 민지 차고레스.
So if you could recite this on a daily basis, then that'd be really good, really great. So when we say in the mantra
아라파자
Arapata
나데
is Nadi. So Arapata is the name mantra of Manjushri. Yeah. So Manjushri is the Buddha or the deity of wisdom. Yeah. So here we are referring particularly to wisdom where we recite Arapazada Di.
주디 아라파자 나데세티 아라파자 나데세티 잠비양게 센디사레스 다 디간라야 옴싱디 자리여로 다 딜리안 제와피여레스 로 딜리안 제와침부여레스 로고 몽불랭고 왔다.
So the first part of the mantra so Arapasasara D is the name mantra of Manjushri, but at the beginning we also add the syllable. So there's actually a lot of explanations associated with the syllable. Lasula.
다 옴슬라운디 베비기 레저기 이게 나로 베비 이게 나로라야 이 인주숨이어레스 아오 마세 이게 숨 차고레스 이게 숨 수도문디 옴세 차고레스 로
laptop digit a bit.
야 아오마 아오마 아오마
ma
옴세 아오마
Aleon.
letters yeah
That's right. So the syllable in the Tibetan script is actually made up of 3 different syllables, and those syllables are a, o, ma.
디 가르치는 거랬어. 난줄라야 류가 익숨이라서 소술라 디 뒤치는 거랬어. 류가 익숨을 때니 나 세디 차고라 류 난줄 류가 익숨을 때니 나 세디 야가 계시 출점이 세도 나 세디 차고라서 땅가디 류가 익숨을 때니 딱 버려 마도 나디 피기 간라야 마덴바 라원니 주요 말이스 진짜 엄생이 디게 류가 익숨을 때니 딱비 나세 류가 익숨을 때니 딱비 나슬라운디 나디 파딱 받자마도 나 코란 라원니 주메바치 나 라원 마트바티 sigdi thandala ya dikogores
So these 3 syllables are or ma. They actually represent or symbolize the body, speech, and mind. So the body, speech, and mind of oneself. Yeah. So we label these us ourselves, for example, Geshe Sutra, on the basis of these three: the body, our own body, speech, and mind. Yeah. But we impute or we label that self, that I, on the basis of our body, speech, and mind. But that I is something that is not truly established there, but it is merely independent of these three, of the body, speech, and mind. So this is what the syllable represents, that imputation, that mere imputation of the self on the basis of the one's own body, speech, and mind.
지자 다디라 엄슬라온디 룽아 이슴 된디 따빙아 라운드 마트바티 아라파자 나슬라온 디슬라온디 셰럽 딘디기 라운드 마트바 토피 셰럽 돈다 수수자 출려바나 어디 고고레스 로 땅안주기 라니 라운드 마트바티 피 룽아 이슴 된디 따바자마도 라운드 마트바티 现了电过嘛到，然后就出门吧地，到头吧呢，地到头吧呢，但忙不休息塞着我的，第一个，ani，但对恰当、适当的、安全的、差不多的忙不休息，但第一个塞着我的，是吧？ani 俺这个扎的年是啷的，别扎是啷的，别让我的出的吧，当不的约的吧，说着的，年是啷的，当不的约的，那我的就第早年的，谈到我们来约马来是来玩的，让我的约马来是，对的，听这个让我的马这边去那么的内陆的，ani 到位落的了呀，只准江边样子，谈到我们的地那个多少，对的，但是。 카드가 알아봐서 껴봐야나 아니 라니 라운드 마트비 출디 삼투 봐야나 당원에 빼마서 변도 친구 요래스라
So the syllable, yeah. So these three of the syllable, the R or ba, yeah. So here we, this is what is represented by the syllable, but also when you've got the Arapazada D part of the mantra, then this is what is representing Manjushri, who is the personification of the wisdom, yeah, the complete wisdom. So the wisdom that understands that the self is not something that is truly established, but the self is only relative to the one's body, speech, and mind, yeah. So if one is able to generate a realization, yeah, a direct realization of the self being merely imputed and not truly established, then this will be removing one's afflicted ignorance or base confusion. So on that base, on the basis of the removal of that ignorance, then all the one's disturbing emotions will also be ceasing. Yeah. And then the differentiation between self and others will also be naturally dissolved. Yeah. So then if we're able to develop this understanding, and in order to improve this understanding of this reality, then if we recite the mantra of Manjushri, yeah, then this will assist in developing this wisdom, this understanding. So this is why Manjushri means the personification of wisdom, yeah, is we rely on Manjushri and his mantra in order to benefit, in order to realize this reality. And if we're able to gain a better understanding and finally realize this reality, then this will be of great benefit to ourselves. That's all.
again 연자인다 라마당
Please repeat
공부
again. Kompo,
지준
Jetsun,
잠비양라
Champion,
창셀로
Chazelo,
라마당
Lamatang,
공부
Kompo,
지준
Jetsun,
잠비양라
Champion,
창셀로
Chazelo,
라마당
Lamatang,
공부
Kompo,
지준
Jetsun,
잠비양라
Champion,
창셀로
Chazelo,
아라파자
Arapaza,
나데
Nade,
아라파자
Arapaza,
나데
Nade,
아라파자
Arapaza,
나데
Nade.
Enough. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jenla.
Thank you.
Final Lamrim dedication. From my 2 types of merits vasa space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a grand land of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings. With the points of the path as I have discerned them, may I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be grounded boundless peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Thank you.